Hi, anybody watching? Hi, Lou. Angela. I was wondering whether it was working for a minute. There's nobody there. It's been a while since I've done a live in here. So we're stamping with Fairy Hugs today. Some of my favourite stamps in the whole world. Look at the state of this. I had to get a new one out, really. But it still works. So maybe some other people will join. Maybe they won't. I'll upload this to YouTube later on. Anyway, so let's just make a start, shall we? Internet traffic. So funny. Sorry, I'm slurping my coffee. So let's just start with a really simple tag. This is one of the Studio Light die sets, which I absolutely love these die sets. They're quite hard to get hold of, unfortunately. This is the Urban tag, and I like the die sets. Let's just grab it. I like the die sets because you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sizes. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 different sizes, and you get the mats and layers for each different one. So that's your kind of background die, and then you've got your solid die at the back that's got a hole in. You've also got 2 sets of reinforcers as well. I really like these, and there were 4 different shapes originally, and of course you can make tag shaped cards as well, and it's just a great thing to use. A tag is a wonderful thing to use when you're getting to know your stamps, because I'm a real believer in getting to know your stamps. I've got dirty fingers. Right, I like magnets. Lots of people know I like magnets. I've got loads of magnets. So we'll start really easy. I mean, this is such a small tag, this one. Yeah, here it is. Look, there's the faux mat. See it behind? I just use this template. It's the Press to Impress. I use the templates. You get 50 sheets in a pack, and it just saves that. I mean, I've never ever had to clean or replace that because I put this paper on top. So yes, I do. Felt a bit snug? No, it's absolutely fine, as you'll see. So let's use the sunflower from the latest collection, from Fairy Hugs, and we are going to do it. I've got a plan. So the plan is to have the sunflowers down the bottom. We're going to have young Iris, and she's going to be sat in the sunflowers. We're going to bring in a sentiment up here, and we're going to have a little caterpillar on there as well. So it's very simple, very quick and easy. Oh, I was going to tell you the size of the tag. The tag is about 4 1/4 inches. So I don't do centimetres. The centimetres are on here, you can see. Not very big. So let's pick this first one up. And we will go for Acorn, if I've got it on my desk. Yeah, Acorn versus Fine Clair. Tap, 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 tap. I do tend to do the whole stamp even if it's going off the page, because I'm not very good at remembering where things are. So give it a good old press. Acorn's a lovely brown. There's 3 browns. There's Pine Cone, Fallen Leaves, I think it's called, and then this one. So you can see the lovely detail. What you will get is sometimes you lose a little bit off the edge, where the edge of the die kind of curls round at the edge, but that's fine because you can just go around with a coordinating ink to fill in the gaps. I am going to just mask this off, and I'm going to remember this time because I quite often don't. This is a piece of woodware masket sheet, and let's find the bit that we want. That's that bit there. And I've cut it out and cut slightly inside the line so that when I stamp the second one, there won't be a gap, in theory. So if you use the acetate that comes in the packaging, you can then pop your second sunflower about there, like so. Pick it up, and the reason I put the acetate is there because there's ink on the stamp, and I don't want to mess up things where I don't want it. And we're going to stamp a second time. Oh, where's my bit of... I'm such a messy stamper. Such a messy stamper. There we go. And then we're going to stamp the second one. I'll give it more of a press on the edge there. You always learn by your mistakes. See, that's better on the edge there. And then when we peel away the mask, you've got 2 overlapping sunflowers there in the bottom. Keep your mask because you can use it over and over and over until it isn't sticky anymore. So that's the sunflower. Love, love, love this stamp. We'll work with lots of the Fairy Hug stamps. You can also do this sort of thing with the rose as well. And if you want a Christmas theme one, you could do the poinsettias, which are all in the Fairy Hugs catalogue. So let's bring in Iris now. Iris, the little fairy. And she's going to sit just in the sunflowers there, like so. While we're at it, we can actually stamp a sentiment as well. Get off, magnet. They want to live together. Get off. Make sure she's... It does help having dirty stamps, actually, because you can see exactly where they're going. Remember, she's a fairy. So if she is hovering a bit above the sunflowers, it doesn't matter because she's got wings. So she can do that. In fact, no, before we stamp the sentiment, we'll do something else at the top. Thought process. I think what we'll do is we will do her in the nocturne. So we do her in the back. Yeah. Yeah, we do Iris in the black. So I was reading your comments, which is quite rude of me. I did get quite distracted. Tap, 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 tap. And she is a silhouette, so you may need to do her twice. By doing her in black, she will stay prominent over the front of the sunflowers. Look at that. I've just re-inked that. So you can actually see that. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. She doesn't need doing again. Let's put her away. That's as clean as my stamps get. I do actually store my stamps. I'll show you how I store my stamps. I just cut the top off, you know, the hangy bit. And I write in the number and the name. And then I store them all in number order in lots and lots and lots of boxes because I've got lots and lots and lots of stamps. I'm very lucky. Very lucky. So we can really go to town with this. What we can do is come into the Halloween collection, which is Spooky Moons. We're going off the page quite a lot, which is why I'm using 97 million magnets. She will be quite wet because my ink is quite wet. Because I've just re-inked. Spooky Moons. We've got a solid and we've got a detailed one in 2 different sizes. So I'm going to use the smaller one. So we are going to go for this one first, and it's just going to come in just here, like so, I think. Let's put another magnet there because I can. And we're going to go for my Morning Mist Versavine Claire. Remember, we are working on a tiny, tiny tag here. What's going on there? Oh no, it's part of the design. I thought, oh, I've got bubbles in my stamp, but it's part of the etched bit of the design. Oh dear, Julia, get a grip. Tap, 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 tap. Give it a good old press around the edge. Oh, thanks, Lou. Okay, right, so that's the detail part of the Spooky Moon. Now you can just use them on their own, or what you can do, what I'm going to do, is actually overlay with one of the other ones. So I'm going to overlay with this one. So this is the same size. Now excuse me if I headbutt the camera because I need to see over the top. Doesn't have to be 100%. Got myself covered already by saying that. And then we go with another colour. And I tend to go for cheerful VersaFine Clear on the top. Obviously, you can just use the solid one on its own. It's such a good set, such a useful set. I mean, you can use your stencils to do your moons and things like that, or just your die cuts if you want to. But I'm tending to go for these stamps because they're just so easy to use. Okay, so there's my moon. Nice bright yellow. I know you can't get the full gist of what's going on because of my sheet underneath, but we'll see it when I fetch it off. So we've nearly finished the stamping. I'm not going to do any colouring in today. What I will do is I will colour it in later on today, and then I'll share the finished coloured in ones to the group later. Because obviously you want to see the composition more than anything, I guess. Now we're bringing one of the little sentiments. This one's called Wish Come True, and it's really diddy. This one will fit inside your like mini envelopes. It's really tiny, but it's perfect for this tiny little tag. So we say, it says, do you believe in fairies? They hope you do. Make a wish, it might come true. So we're going to have that just there like so. So we have got quite a lot going on, even though it's only a tiny little tag. So that one will go there. Then I think what we'll do is we'll bring in one of the little caterpillars, because the caterpillars is just so cool. And we'll bring in this little caterpillar because it's coming in off of the page. It can be off the page, it's absolutely fine. Doesn't have to all fit on. It gives you a bit more, give you a bit more movement if you've got things coming in from elsewhere. So we do those in Nocturne as well. Yep, pick up the right ink pad, Julia. Yep. I do not. I've purchased all of my magnets, Charmaine. Honestly, I have. Every single one of them. I just like magnets because I don't like it when things move. I'm not on TV until the 31st of March. That's if it's still going ahead. I'm not sure yet. I'm supposed to be on with Tutti Designs. We've got just an hour. It's supposed to be 3 p.m, but I think it's going ahead. I don't know. So there's a little sentiment and a little caterpillar coming in to listen to what Iris has got to say to him. And we've just finished this off because we can finish it off with just a little bit of foliage. I'm not sure when the next Fairy Hugs release is. There's normally one a month, so there should be one in April, but I've not seen it yet. Okay, so there's my caterpillars, and you get 6 caterpillars, and you get kind of your solids, and then you get ones that you can colour in as well, and you've got right and left facing in different poses, so they're really cool. They've been really popular, the caterpillars. Let's fetch this off here a minute and grab myself a bit of copy paper so I don't make too much of a mess. And we'll just bring in a little bit of foliage. So we've got this set here, which is called Forest Flowers, which is a uber useful set. And I think we go for Shady Lane. This is my favourite stamp here. I've used this one to death. You know when you have a favourite and you just use it and use it. It's not sticking properly. It needs a wash. It'll be fine for now. Get a block that's far too big. And we're just going to bring in a tiny bit of foliage at the top here. So this really is a mini version of what you can do on a larger scale. So like I say, there are quite a lot of stamps going on here. Just a little bit of foliage, just poking in the top. We'll have a little bit more, just near the moon. And there we go. So obviously I will colour this in, and it will go onto my mat and layer there. And that's our first kind of mini project. Watch this. I remember Lou years ago. It was actually when Leonie did a workshop for me locally, and we were I tasked her with using Lavinia stamps, and she had some Lisa Horton stamps as well from Creative Expressions, and there were a lot of people. I think there was about 45 people, something like that. And I had to clean all the stamps afterwards. It took me a very long time, and stencils. It was just horrendous. Right, so that's one. Then I thought we'd perhaps do a little scene as well, because we can. So let's find another tag, because I like my tags. So so this one has got some of the new saltwater taffy on it, and it's also got shabby shutters, and it's one of my distress oxide backgrounds that I do. Do you want me to show you how to do that, or are you happy that you know how to do that? Just tell me and I'll tell you, whichever. Shall I just carry on and stamp? I'll just stamp. Right, okay. So where's my little ring bit? I've got to have my ring bit on there as well. Oh, there we go. Let's put my ring bit on before I lose it. Oh, you want me to do it? Okay, I'll do it. That's fine. Absolutely fine. Then I'll have some more backgrounds to deal with. Normally, my backgrounds look something like that, so they're all mixed up. But this one, I've tried to do it so that it's in two different areas. So I'll show you how I did that. I have got a video on my YouTube channel with the kind of block colour one, because I'm trying to put loads of videos on there as well at the moment. Move that out of the way so I don't make too much of a mess. Right, so let's get some watercolour card. So this is the Sentimentally Yours Super Smooth watercolour card. Just finding a mat so I can buy it. Oh, sorry about that. Chair in the way. So I tend to do a full A4 sheet. Then I can get 3 or 4 tags out of it, or I can get a long journal page, or and a tag, or I can get 2 A5 journal pages. So and I do like a batch make of them. So as I said, we're going to use saltwater taffy, which is the new oxide, and the shabby shutters as well, which obviously has been around for a while, and it's a clean way. Oh, thanks, Lou. It's a clean way of using your oxide sprays without actually spraying them, and I like that. I mean, I'm not scared of making a mess, but sometimes when you're in the confines of your craft room, you don't really want to do it. Now remember, oxide sprays have got like a ball bearing. You can hear that in the bottom. And so you want to make sure that you give it a really good old shake so that it's all mixed up, especially if you're spraying. It's not so important for this technique, but especially if you're spraying. So what you want to do first of all, and this is one of Diane Reevely's techniques from her Distinctly Delusional book, which is an excellent book. If ever I'm kind of stuck for backgrounds, or you know, I want some kind of inspiration, I go into that book and I just adapt it to however I want. And she obviously does it with her Dilution sprays. So all you're going to do is actually draw with the tube, with your nozzle, from your oxide spray. And it's up to you. I tend to do circles, which is what Diane did. You don't worry about these splats. These splats are fab as well. Remember that oxide reacts with water, and the water actually oxidizes the ink and kind of makes it react differently. So we're just drawing. In fact, I forgot what I was doing, didn't I? I've gone all over. That's just typical. I can't speak and think. Oh dear, I don't know what's wrong with me. I've got too much going on in my brain. So that's the saltwater taffy. I'm going to just give it, where you've got solid areas, you want that to move around a bit. So down here, down below, this is where I'm going to concentrate on Shabby Shutters now. I should have just put Shabby Shutters just in the bottom and saltwater taffy in the top, but it's fine. We just have the Shabby Shutters down the bottom here. And if you want to have it more hilly, you can have some high bits, that sort of thing. And where it's interesting because you'll see that where we're drawing with the tubes, we're going to get some interesting going on. Let's do a bit more up here, because I like it to be quite colourful. Because this is like somebody was saying, oh no, not another pink, but this is like a peachy pink. Oh, it's totally different to Kitsch Flamingo, totally different. So now, just a bit more water where it's more solid. You do use a lot of water, but this card can definitely take it. And then we're going to put another piece on the top, so you get a twofer on the top, and they will be slightly different. Piece of kitchen roll. And you could do a Leone on this. You could use all the mop-ups on something else. Sometimes I rub the mop-ups over on the back here. They're quite light with these because remember, these are quite light colours that we're dealing with. And sometimes it will print on this side for you if it's the darker colours. So now we peel it away. And you've got two backgrounds going on here. A pale one, and then this one has all of the lines going on from where we've drawn with it. And it will actually set, because the ink goes into where the tubes have gone, and that's quite interesting. So that's how you do the background, but don't forget and just do one below and one above, or just use it like that, wherever you want it. Does that make sense? Yeah, saltwater tap. I am quite competitive on price. I don't make very much money on Distress at all. But I do like it, and it is good to have it. Right, so that's that. So we're going to work on this here. And we're going to do ourselves a little scene. So let's pull out the stamps that we want for this, because I haven't done that already. So let's go for, we want some of the little houses. Unfortunately, I didn't sort all my stamps out when I got back from the studio, so I'm a bit remiss on that. We can have that one. There's a little acorn house, which is quite cool as well. We want some trees. We may bring in some deer and some foxes. Might bring in those. We definitely might bring in some small hares. This is the thing, when you go into your stash of stamps, you think, oh, I'll use that. We might bring in the mini stone pathway as well. Oh, there's the trees. We've got the arched tree, so let's see what we're going. So lots of stamps on my desk now. Quite a mess, as always. So we'll start by choosing our house. I think we will go for the little mushroom house. And we've already got some sort of difference between green and the saltwater taffy going on there. But I think we'll just before we start stamping, we'll just accentuate that a little bit. So bring in some of my hillock kind of pieces of card. So we could have that coming in like that, and we'll go for a bit of peel paint. And whichever one's got green on it. That's got grey on it. I'm not very good at cleaning my brushes. I think this little one's got green on it. Yeah. So a little bit of peel paint. Just to give us some hills. We don't need to do much because we've already got green down below. But it gives us a little bit of an accent. Like so, like that. And then we could bring in another bit, perhaps down here. And it's just watercolour card that I've torn. Just, you know, the one with the tooth on it, which I don't really like to use anymore. Okay, so there's a little bit of interest going on there. So let's stamp our house. You might bring in another tree as well. The scenes kind of evolve. I'll just show you one that I did. This is one that I did when I very first got my stamps. So you can see I've got all the trees on here. I've got a little house. I've got some fairies, dragons. I've got all sorts of animals. And it's a really good way of getting to know your stamps by doing something like this. Ah, that's interesting, Lou. I'm using Sentimentally Yours watercolour card. That's the card I'm stamping on Soup. Okay, so let's get our magnets all sorted. And once I've got my house on, then I can plan wherever everything else is going to go. So my house is at the bottom of the hill. Just there, I think. And obviously the acetate, because the acetate's printed, it does mean that you can see exactly where you're putting stuff, and you can really have a plan for however you want to create your scene. I'm going to do all this one in black. So Nocturne, where is it? Not that one. Not that one. I've got 97 million ink pads on my desk now. And it's always the last one that you get to, isn't it? Tap, 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 tap. Obviously, it's up to you as to whether you colour these in. You don't have to colour them in if you don't want to. I do tend to add a little bit of colour, and I just go for my Sentimentally Yours watercolour blending brush pens because they've got that nice fine tip on them, and it's just easy. I don't bother with shading or anything like that because I rarely get time to do all that. But the stamps have got such lovely detail on them, they kind of do all the work for you. Let's see. I'm just going to go again so it's just a little bit darker. Oh. Look. I caught it though before it went on the floor. And you're working in 6 inches. Oh dear, I've got it everywhere. a great big splodge on my desk now as well. Oh well. Cheap table, doesn't matter. Right, so there's my little house. I'm happy with how dark it is now. And now we're going to mask it off. So I've got a mask for that as well. Where are you? Where are you? I hope I've got it. Yeah, there it is. It's always the last one. So once again, just a piece of the woodware masket sheet. Keep the back in so it can stick it back on again. And ideally, you want to do, it's not ideal going on wet ink because sometimes the ink transfers underneath, but you know, it is what it is, isn't it? Right, so let's have a tree. So we're going for the mini arched tree here. And as the name suggests, it's got a lovely arch to it, so it's a really nice one to use behind the houses. So that's going to go there. I'm going to bring it down there. I think because we've got another hillock up here, I think we're bringing another tree up there as well. So let's have the mini weeping tree. Of course, all of these are minis, so the price point is a bit lower than some of the other stamps that are in previous collections. So that's going to go up there like so. And they're trees, aren't they? So I think we will go brown for these. So we get acorn again. Hi, Anthony. Look at the mess I'm making. Light taps, Julia. Never, ever light taps. Tap, 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 tap. I don't know why I clean it off first. It's just a habit. I don't need to because the stamps are, they are photopolymer. They're not acrylic. So they are deeply etched. They are very, very good quality stamps, actually. I mean, you wouldn't, I mean, I'm sure that the other ladies that demonstrate on here would not be using stamps that they didn't believe in. And these are very, very good. And the men, obviously, sorry. Mustn't leave the men out. So there's our trees. And there is another one, there's the mini oak tree as well. So there's 3 trees in the latest collection. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. I shouldn't really complain. I'm not going to. I'm fine. I'm fine. Right, so that's they. So I tend to put them back in the packet because otherwise I won't be able to find what I want. And we can have a little kind of walkway coming from this one. So we got them, there's the mini stone path and there's also the mini wooden path as well. And we do have larger versions of both of them. There's also a mini stone wall and we've got a larger version of the stone wall. So obviously we can come from the steps. So because I've got the mask there, I can decide to start as a fat path or I can start as a thin path, however I want it to be. I think we're going to start about, let's see, about there, like so. Let's think about what else we're going to have on here. I think we'll probably bring in a moon again. So let's do that now. And we will go for the same size as we went before because I do like my moons. Because I do I want a big one? Oh, we could go with the big one, couldn't we? No, let's go the little one because then I've got room for other things up there as well. Let's bring it in a bit further though this time. Let's put it up there. Magnets. And we can do some animals. So, where's our foxes and deers? bring in one of these stags here. Have him just stood under the tree like that. Obviously, it's a mini world, so sometimes, you know, in the real world, the deers are going to be much bigger than the hares, aren't they? But, you know, it's make-believe, isn't it? It doesn't really matter. Let's just go with those 3 for now. Let's not just complicate it too much. And once again, we're going to go for the morning mist with the moon. And we'll do the deer and the pathway in the nocturne. I don't always tidy up as I go. But sometimes I end up with so many stamps all stuck together that I get in. It's just, yeah, such a mess. See, when they're a bit sticky, you wanna. That's fine. That mask has come off for me. Look, nicely on that stamp. Where was the back of that? There it is. No, it's not. Ah, I like to keep my backings. And got the deer. Yeah, I might go deer once more, just so he's a bit darker. Oh, nearly did it. Nearly did the path all the way over my house. That's better, he's darker. Right. Yeah, on my last TV show, I forgot to put my masks on when I was doing my sunflower, and I was very, very, very unhappy about that. Couldn't live with it. And then we're going to go for the moon on top, because we can. Hover over the top. Okay, that'll go on there. And tidy up our deer and all the mess on my platform. So where did the deers go? Here they are. No, they're not. Where have I put my deers? Don't know. They've gone. Ah, there they are. Right in front of me. So you've got mini deers, mini cats, mini hares, mini owls, all sorts of minis. You don't need a Julia in your craft room. The state of my craft room is just terrible, absolutely terrible. So we could have, we haven't got any fairies in here yet. In fact, let's just do this moon, and then we'll bring in some fairies and maybe a dragon. So again, we're just going to go for our cheerful, our yellow, do it on top of the moon. That's that. And then let's go and find us some dragons and fairies. So we have Ovrad, who could be flying in like so, because it's make-believe. There's nothing stopping us having dragons and fairies as well as deer and foxes and beavers, badger beavers, that is. Or we could have Moribella. She could be flying in, but I don't want her. I want the dragon. I like the dragon. He's going to come in. Don't know if we'll have a sentiment on here or not. Haven't decided. Ooh, we could have done. Tell you what we have got. We've got these rather beautiful ruffled mushrooms. Now that might be a bit much having that over there, but what we will do, I think, is we'll bring that mass back in wherever I put it. There it is. And we will put some foliage on the other side of the mushroom house. You can tell I'm making it up as I'm going along. This is what you do with this collection. And like most things, the more of a collection you've got, the more you can get your imagination going, and you can build different scenes. I know it sounds like silly stuff, but it's actually true, unfortunately. So let's bring in some of this foliage. This is your woodland flowers. Let's put that mask thing there so I don't lose it. So let's bring in that like so. We're running out of space for a fairy though, but that's fine. Don't have to have a fairy on it if we don't want one. I just think it looks quite cool when you've got foliage as well on there. So let's bring in Ovrad as well. Let's do him. A flying dragon. And we have him just so his wings are just over the edge of the moon there. I think that's quite interesting. And we'll go for Shady Lane again for the foliage. And we do Ovrad in the Nocturne. So press where you've got, although the masket is thin, just press a little bit harder on the edges there so that you don't get a gap. I'm just going to go Ovrad a little bit more. Occasionally when your stamps have been sat for a few days without being used, they just need a little bit more ink the next time you use them. So now if we pull this away, so we've got foliage going on behind the house, and once you've coloured that in, that'll pop away from the background. Fairy inside. Of course there's a fairy inside the house. Definitely. Right, so let's take my stamps off. Right. It's amazing how much time goes when you're doing this sort of thing, actually, because you think, oh, I can get 3 or 4 demos done in an hour, but then you get carried away and you bring in all these millions of stamps. You don't have to have this many, but, you know, when you've got them, you want to use them, don't you? So let's have a look. Mini foxes. I might bring in a mini fox in a minute, seeing as we're not going for... yeah, let's have a look. I tell you what we'll have. Yes, let's do this. We could have this mini fox down here. Again, he's going to go off the page a wee bit, but he looks like he's playing with something, doesn't he? And he's playing with a mini caterpillar. I love these little mini caterpillars. They're just so cute. So let's stamp those. I'm going to bring in that magnet down there so it doesn't move. Again, we're going to go with Nocturne. I sometimes do my foxes in brown, but because he's so close to the caterpillar and I'm actually stamping them at the same time, I'm going to do them in the black. You could do one of the cats as well. The cats could play with the caterpillars as well. I think they're mini heads, actually, the caterpillars, the cats. See, he looks fine, doesn't he, off the page? I could have, actually, if I'd have done them separate, I could have done them a bit closer. I'm aware that we've taken ages doing this. That's my caterpillars again. The caterpillars are a real go-to. Like I say, they've been very popular. And the mini foxes. Just see how many stamps I can get onto this. Right, so where are we at now? So we've got a little bit of space going on. We could probably get a sentiment in there. So let's see if we can get this one on. This is called Still of the Night. In the still of the night, while the world around you sleeps, may the fairies smile upon you and bring you peace. So we'll have to bring in a fairy somewhere, won't we? I have a cunning plan. It'll be fine. So, but that's a really good space there for a sentiment to go. And we go right towards the left-hand side, I think. Because then I might be able to get it straight, you never know. I want something there as well. So, let's see. You could bring in a cat here. Because that would look completely right, having a cat there. I'm not going to bring in a cat. Any old excuse to put a cat in there. Let's bring in one of the hares. Let's bring in this one that's running. In fact, we've got two that's running. Let's have the smaller one. That's all right, Jenny. You can just watch it back. It'll be in the video section of the group, and I'll put it onto YouTube later as well. So, yeah, you'll be able to watch it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, everybody. It's quite a good, fun way to have an afternoon, really, isn't it? See, I need another magnet there now, because that's a sticky one. Let's see. I think that's moved. Let's see whether that's going to be in the right place. Yeah, that's all right now. 97 million magnet. I'll just have another magnet. No, I can't put a magnet there, can I? I'll put one there. 97 million magnets. Okay, Still of the Night. And a little rabbit, or hare as it's called, coming in. That's fine, doesn't need doing again. Win-win. I have just, like I say, I have just re-inked my Nocturne VersaFine Clair, so that does help. So we're nearly finished on this one. And I think this will have to be it for today. But maybe Charmaine will ask me back again. Hares, and we have got so we've got some space up there so we can do some foliage. We have got where are they? We have got these little fairy dwellers. Now we've got, there's two sets, there's the Condo Dwellers and Condo Dwellers 2 that are fairies. And they are similar but different. Obviously, these have got different poses to the other ones, but I know you can't tell from my acetate because I've got fairies on them. But you can actually see on these, you can see like skirt lines, you can see the hair, and you can also see the necklines of their dresses as well, which you couldn't see on the other ones. The other ones, you can still do the wings like you can on here, but these have got more detail to them. So what we could do, because we're dealing with fairies here, he's looking over his shoulder a little bit, so, and they are mini fairies, so we could have a fairy that's actually sitting on his bottom, or standing on his bottom, or coming in to land onto his bottom. And so that deer is turning around thinking, oi, gruff me. Then you could also have another one sitting on the top of the tree branches here, because remember they can hover, so they can sit wherever they want to. They're a bit sticky because they're quite new. Get off me. Right, so we can have a couple there like that. We could also have a tiny little one down the bottom near the house. So we could have one right coming right in here, and she's going to be going into her house there. So we've got 3 of those little fairies in there. So that makes the sentiment all tie together. Where's my little bit of, don't know where my carrier sheet bit, oh there it is. So that would tie it all in together. So we've got the Still of the Night mentions the fairies, and we've got fairies on here. And then all we do to finish is we'll add a little bit of foliage at the top, and then this one will be finished. And like I say, I'll colour it in this afternoon, and I'll put the finished projects into group so you can see what they look like once you've added a bit of colour. And I'll just use my Sentimentally Yours blending brush pens to colour in the houses, and I'll do the wings as well of the dragon and the little fairies, and I'll put a little bit of Distress ink around the edges to finish it off. There we go, so there's 3 little fairies coming in from my fairy dwellers. And these are like real go-tos, like the condo dwellers and the witchy dwellers for Halloween. They're really useful little sets to have. Let's take this out of here. And we just again finish it off with a little bit of foliage. So I don't know whether I put it away. What we could do actually is, bear with, I was going to do one with the roses, but that's not happening. What we could do is, yeah, let's do this. We'll take my favourite foliage stamp again. So this is your forest flowers. So we'll start off with this, and then we'll add something else to it. Where did my block go? So again, we'll stay with our Shady Lane. And bring a little bit of foliage just around the top. Go there like so. And then we'll bring in, so I have to wipe this, otherwise I'm going to get in such a mess, or more of a mess than normal. Then we bring in the one of the floral ones. We bring in this one here, so we can add a little bit of contrast flowers to it. I wonder if there's one that will coordinate with the saltwater taffy quite nicely. We could go for a pink of some sort. Let's go for Charming Pink. How will that look? Yeah, that'll be alright, that'll show up. And we just add some flowers in amongst the foliage there. So once again, we'll grab our back of our bookmark. These do make fantastic bookmarks. Tag. So we've got that one, and then we've got this one that we did tiny one. So we can go huge or we can go small with the fairy hugs. Obviously journal pages, cards, all sorts that you can use them on. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And like I say, I'll colour them in and I'll post them into group, and then I'll also upload this to YouTube as well later on. So thank you very much everybody for joining me. Lovely to have your company, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.